This is a basic overview of mixing your film. So the mixing part is when you have all the elements in, you've done all your editing, you want it to, this is the final touch to make sure that all the levels are okay and everything, the music and the audio and the voice and your ambient track and everything is all at a good level. So I've increased, so over here is your VU meter, which is your audio meter.
I'm sorry.
So this is that same short film that I've used before.
I didn't mean to start.
So there's your meters over here.
Sweet girl.
Just to review my tracks here, so I have the young woman here. Her track is the track 1. The other woman here, who she's trying to get into her house and rob, basically, she's on track 2. And then track 3 is an ambient track. I think track 4 is also an ambient track. And then track 5 and 6 is my music track. So see, that's how you stay organized on your tracks, so you can mix. And you can see my my L cuts and J cuts happening here, mixing the edits. You know, bringing up the voice and then bringing it down and mixing it all. So there's no, so you don't hear any pops or anything. So just for ease, I'm gonna change this piece of music. I have a real subtle piece of music here. It's when the homeless girl comes up to try and rob the other girl.
Don't.
It's real subtle, so I'm gonna do a little this like aggressive drum beat music I have here. So I'm gonna have it stop just before she turns around with the mace in her hand and she's gonna spray her. I'll have a little like aggressive ending there. So I'll mark an out of where I want that to stop. And you can back time your edits like that. If you don't mark an in, it'll just do the out of your source and the out of your mark on your timeline, and it'll match that up, and then the in will it'll just back time it. So I want to make sure that I put it on there. So I've got highlighted track 1 going to track 6. All my other tracks are turned off. Now overwrite edit. You see the word overwrite, so that way I don't screw up anything else. Overwrite, and there you see it just back timed it. So that's the end of that piece of music.
Don't.
So see, she spins around just as that drum beat stops. That's pretty good, just for this. And then I'm going to, here's this other part of music here, this other piece. I'm not sure if I want to get rid of it or not, so I'm just going to leave it, but I'm just going to I'm just going to pot it down using my markers. So it's still there. I might use it. And this little part here too, I'm going to leave because this is like a weird little wave of noise that happens after she says don't. So I'm going to leave that.
Don't.
Okay, so mixing. Here we are. So here's her audio. Drum beats happening.
Don't. I'm sorry.
So now look where my VU meters are when she says I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So you want your ideal audio is between the end of that yellow area of the VU meters. So above -20.
I'm sorry.
But not hitting red. If it's red, it's too loud. So watch the music. It's a little red at the end there.
Don't.
She starts to go orange and then it becomes red. So really loud. Here, I'll crank it up so you can see it. See, that's overmodulating. So that red means that you're too loud. See, The ideal area is that yellow zone for the audio as far as the loudness. So her don't's pretty good.
I'm sorry.
Her I'm sorry is pretty good. It's right in there. So I'm going to lower that drum beat. Still a little loud. It's okay to be like, if the music can be a little louder there and the dialogue is more normal if you want to emphasize that music, but we don't want it overmodulating.
Don't.
It's a little bit for some emphasis.
Don't. I'm sorry.
So good. You see that's kind of, and then we have some other eerie music that comes underneath, and that's real subtle. So that's part of the mixing process. Sorry, I'll play that again.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. Sweet girl.
And then when you're mixing the audio or the dialogue, you want to make sure that they're both hitting in that yellow area.
Don't.
So let's say if the homeless girl, or if her audio was way down, that would be too low.
I'm sorry.
See, that's too low. I'll zoom in there.
I'm sorry.
See, that's too low. It's just barely touching that yellow.
I didn't mean to startle you.
See, that's perfect. So her right here, you can see it's too low. Right here is pretty good.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. Sweet girl. I'm lost.
So let's bring that up. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'll show you the meters.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you.
So that's a little low too, so I could even bring that up just a hair. Give it some presence.
Don't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. Sweet girl.
So you can see there's ambient track down here, and again, you don't want that to be too loud. So you want to, the mixing is how everything is all working together. So nothing sticks out too far, and the audio is all the same level. Like their conversation, the audio should be the same level of loudness because they're standing in the same space. There's a little bit of a cheat now. So this is real subtle, not really a cheat, but this is real subtle mixing, is because I go to a wide shot here, I lowered their audio just a slight bit, as if the audience has stepped back, as if they're farther away.
I'm lost. You're lost? I ran. I was in a bad home. I'm trying to get to Virginia. My grandmother's there.
See right there, it's still too low, so I'm going to bring that back up because we've come back to a closer shot. And that's a real subtle mixing thing there.
I ran. I was in a bad home. I'm trying to get to Virginia. My grandmother's there, but she can't drive. Oh. Wow. Okay. Just hoping for a meal or a few dollars so I can keep moving.
So that's the mixture of music and voice. And then for like subtle underscoring, so this is real subtle music underneath. There's a mixture of ambient sound with some background traffic noise. She's going to walk through the leaves, and it just sort of all mixes together. Nothing's too loud, nothing sticks out. You want that trunk sound to sound like it's about as far away as the shot is. Like if it's too loud, it won't feel natural. So now here's some sort of next level audio mixing. If you go to the audio mixing tool in the drop-down menu, see the drop-down menus, you have editing, you have color, and you have audio. This is where you have some more intense audio controls for panning and levels and so forth. And then something you can do is, if you're working in stereo, is because the homeless girl is sort of left side of the screen, you could, and because it's important to have separate audio tracks, you can hit her audio, highlight her audio track, and that highlights it up here, and you could pan it left slightly, if you're in stereo, of course, and then her voice will be a little bit on the left.
I'm trying to get to Virginia. My grandmother's there, but she can't drive.
And then the woman of the house, who she's trying to rob, she could be a little bit on the right.
Oh, wow. Okay. Just hoping for...
It's still panned. See, because I changed that track so it holds it for that track. For this scene, you could always have her on the left-hand side and her on the right-hand side, and it just gives it a little space. Again, a little reality, like when you're sitting there watching it, it just helps. You're actually in the same space with them. So that's some very basic audio mixing. The most important thing is these VU meters on the right here. That when the audio is at a high enough level that it can be heard.
Make yourself comfortable.
See, we're hitting into the yellow here.
Hi, honey. Don't hate me. I brought a new friend in. This...
This is the train goes by at the beginning. Nothing's too loud. I'm not overmodulating. You can see that I'm not overmodulating that train. Even if it was really loud when we shot it, I brought it down.